So, actually, have you two actually gigged together then?
Hey guys. Welcome to the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast. With your hosts, Jack, Vincent and Nick Crooks. Oh, and by the way, they're from the north. That's the reason they sound that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
When was this then? Where was this?
Huddersfield, I think, was it?
At the Batley Theatre.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It was
it's a nice venue there.
Competition, wasn't it? Did you? You came in the top 3, didn't you? From what I
I came
remember.
second.
Robbed.
Robbed.
That was a really good gig.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
I'm just putting this out there. I actually live in Huddersfield and I didn't make the semi-finals or the finals or even a heap, so don't worry about that, guys.
Well, I kind of got... Oh, I shouldn't admit this. I should just be like, yeah, I got to the final. But I think somebody must have dropped out and they were like, we need a space fill in. So I got to the final without actually doing any of the other rounds.
I'm not going to lie, Jack. That's exactly how I got in as well.
I don't actually think there was any heats were there. I think it was just
No, he'd like put it together, I think, and then people had dropped out, and then he was like, "Oh, who can do it?" And I think Ellie recommended me. So like, Anthony. The thing is, what annoyed me is Anthony J. Brown. I've gigged for a few times, and he didn't once think, "I know we'll get in this competition." Well, wait until someone drops out for him.
You know, I always find it funny though when you go to a gig, and have you ever got to a position where you see someone at a gig, you've worked with them before, but then they don't know who you are, but you're like, oh, this is now really awkward. Like I did a gig. It was actually at the Graham gig where I actually met you, Millie, but it was the second time that I did it, and I actually went up and there were an act there, and I'd gigged for this act a year before. I'd done his night and I'd spoken to him via email numerous times, and he came over to me and went, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah," and I went, "Oh yeah, I know, we've met."
Oh.
Oh right.
Oh no.
I went, oh shit. Yeah.
I've just thought of something funny from that gig as well. So I was running a bit late and I didn't really know anyone at that point because it was only like a few, I can't remember how many gigs in, but I only knew Graham. And then I saw there was a seat in the corner, so I was like, right, I'll just go sit there. And I think I said to you, I was like, oh, do you mind if I sit there? And then that was literally the only interaction we had until after. Yeah. And then the guy you were chatting to, you'd been I'd literally hardly spoke to either of you. You two were chatting, and then because I was like, I like, you know, before when you like a bit of just quiet time just to think, and so I thought, oh, I'll chat with people after, and then at one point about an hour had passed, and he was like, oh, you one of the acts? And I said, yeah, and he pointed at you. He was like, oh, I thought you're just his girlfriend, and I was like, yeah. I was like, what? You think we'd just fallen out? We've not even been talking.
You come to the pub and just sat next to each other in silence.
But the thing is, if I remember rightly, actually, because when you were telling that, then I was like, something happened. If I remember rightly, you came over and was like, oh, because I think you came in when an act was on.
Probably, yeah.
And I think you said, oh, is this space free? And I had not taken. I was like, yeah. And in my head, I was like, oh, this is someone who just wants to watch the show. Because I was sat here and you were sat like a bit of a distance away, like on a round thing. And he even looked at me to make sure that it was like, yeah, it's free. Watch this show. And then I think it was when it broke, and I think that's when you went over and spoke to Graham. And I think I even went, oh, you're an act? Sorry, I really apologise. I didn't know. And we got chatting. But I think he'd gone to the bar at that point. He then comes and sits down and then said that. And I was like, you spoke, you don't, what? But
that was a weird relationship.
But weirdly enough, I actually remember that particular act. I'm not going to name names because I then gigged with them earlier in the year, this year just gone. And when we were in the green room, he came up and shook his hand and went, "Hi, I'm so and so." I went, "Yes, I know, we've met."
Oh,
Jack, not getting them. Oh, that's good.
No one remembers me. But yeah, it's a nice gig there. I also remember, because the same gig that Graham won, the second time I did it was when me and you did it, Nick, and you came later, and was when Sean Bukowski dropped that light bulb, the lamp, and it went everywhere.
Oh, was it? So, well, I'm guessing Millie had left by this point. Was it
No,
at the same time?
it was a separate
different
one.
Oh,
I
right.
did-
I was going to say,
I-
yeah, I came like dead late to that.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
what?
Sean just picked up a candle holder.
it was a
But,
candle
like, he
holder.
picked it up from the top, and then all the bottom of the candle holder and the candle fell out, and wax went on the table. And
Oh no.
I mean, it was fucking brilliant.
It was sick. It was a good one. It was a good night. It's good. It is a good night there actually in Dewsbury.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, really good.
It is very good. I have with the questionable or the bad gigs. Then, what has been kind of some of your highlights that you've enjoyed in the short space time you've been doing comedy?
You mean the highlights of the bad ones? Or the highlights of the...
I meant the highlights of just general. But if you're gonna go for yeah,
well,
great.
I do think Nick's gig is probably the best one that I've done, and he wasn't there, but you were there, Jack.
You absolutely. My mum loved you.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What's she
Well,
called?
the reports that I got was good about Millie, so that's good for me.
Oh, that's nice. What's your mum called?
My mum's called Denise.
Hi, Denise. Shout out for Denise.
She won't be listening.
Denise.
I don't think she knows how to work an internet. So,
Oh.
Denise, get on the listens. We've been going for about 15 episodes.
mate, we're on 25, 26, 28 or something.
They've just been all moulded into one for me.
Yeah,
It's been going on too long, this.
too long. No, I will say, Nick, you dropped on really well with your venue. It's absolutely amazing.
Brilliant.
I've done it twice now. I mean, Nick won't mind me saying this. The first time I did it, it wasn't the best, but we was going up against the football.
Yeah, Champions League final we was going up again.
The actual night was brilliant, as in it's amazingly well run. I had a lot of time fun in the prop room. Again, the backstageness was fantastic, well hosted. It's just it just wasn't as well turned out as it is now, but that's just how it fell.
I think you had like 80 there, did you, when I wasn't there? About 80, 70, 80? So
Yeah.
you had a decent...
Yeah, oh yeah, it was packed, yeah.
And to only been going since August and smash that gig, Millie, that's very good.
Well, that's
I mean,
good.
that's coming from me, and I ain't exactly a pro, but I'm just...
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
that's
putting it out
really
there.
I mean, I'm trying to just say what I see. Like, I won't book anyone that I don't think can handle the gig, because
yeah.
it's pointless for me to damage the reputation of the night.
No, it's true, because you've got a really good reputation and you do a really good thing, because obviously you do a short, I won't say a shorter night per se, but you give people longer spots because they're doing a little bit more than your 5 minutes that's just getting a giggle here and there. So it is, you do a really good night. So let's talk about my night. I'm kidding.
I was meant to do yours just before lockdown.
Yeah.
Is that on Women's Day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're supposed to have you for International Women's Day, but unfortunately COVID happens. Once we're back up and running, we are going to be getting everyone back, hopefully. Even though it might not be for International Women's Day, it should still be celebrated. Same with the Pride special, same with all the other specials that we've got planned. So we'll be getting some up and running, and we'll be in touch when we're allowed out to play again. Because I also like how the comedy industry, Boris Johnson was like, 4th of July, you're allowed to go to the pub. And then comedy was like, yay, comedy's back. And then he went, but you're not allowed to do live entertainment. And he went, comedy's gone. So.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I don't know when it'll be, but yeah, I have that. Yeah, so that gig was really good,
yeah.
and the right, I did another. Right, this venue was the best venue, like probably the poshest, nicest venue that I've ever had. The actual gig went terribly, but the whole, when the night is like such a good night, but then your bit goes terribly, and you're like, oh. But if it wasn't for me, it would have been good. But it's because it was in Driffield, I think, and it was in like this posh manor house, and it was the sort of place where you'd have like a wedding or something. It was really posh.
Nice.
And it was Valentine's Day this year, obviously, and it was they had like this little food van, and they were giving out like Thai curries, and I got all this free food, and they had these little people going around with little trays with little nibbles on. I got told off for having too many of the free nibbles. Apparently
Who
it was
told you off?
it was like one of them backhanded tellings off, where she's like, I was just going over and getting another spring roll, and she was like, it is just one per person, like one of them.
Oh.
So you better get your kitchen love and make some more, because I'll be here all night.
Well, I made the excuse that I was like, I'm taking them back for my friends, because I was like piling them up on my napkin. I wasn't. And it was just such a good venue, and like everybody else seemed to do quite well, and it was a very old audience, and a lot of them hadn't seen comedy before, and it was really odd. You know, one of them times where you're just like, this is so odd. And I remember there was like a young couple on the front laughing at me, and the rest of them, there was an old man that was fast asleep on the front row, and there was an old woman that every time I mentioned something remotely rude, she just looked like she wanted to die. It was one of them, and I was like, oh, this is awful.
Christ, I would have bombed at that gig.
I don't know, Nick. You seem to. I think you're quite durable in the sense.
I would have woke the old man up with a spray. Well, that's all I could tell.
Well, there's me here going, I think you can do well in all audience, and you're like, I would have just jizzed.
I can't though. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. I mean, I don't think anyone can. The older ones is hard.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they were like 80.
Oh, I'd be fucked. No, honestly, I came to the conclusion very, very early on that the older the audience, the average age of the audience goes up, I just tend to not do well.
That's for the fact that everyone in the audience has got a Velcro wallet and they don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah, no even lie there. It is. I think it came apparent. I've done 2 gigs now that have been for student comedy societies, like when they have like a get together and they get some comedians in, and I've done 2, and they've been 2 of the best gigs I've ever done, because obviously they're young and they're fun and they're fresh. I don't know why that's fresh. But they're younger. This is a 28-year-old guy with the worst world's headline going fresh. I tend to do better, but then I've done a gig before. Weirdly enough, it was actually one of the. I had a mental breakdown, not a mental breakdown, but it seemed like I had a mental breakdown. So obviously, like Nick mentioned there, part of my setting had to go at people who have Velcro wallets. It was up north near No, I've just come from Driglets and Jack. What's the place up? Skipton, where, but it begins with a D. It's anywhere. It's not the name. It's gonna. Up north. Yeah. It's up north, but it begins with a D.
Durham.
No.
That's up north.
Oh, it's gonna bug me. Anyway. So I'd gone to do this at Darlington.
Christ, we got there in the end.
Yeah.
It's really quiet because my housemate is only there and he's asleep, so I need to be really quiet. But I'd gone up, and there was like 6 people in the audience, and there were only like 2. No, there were 3 men. No, there was like 8 people in the audience, and there were only 3 men. And obviously, my bit is taking a piss out of men, so I have to ask men in the audience. And I asked this one gentleman, and I went, "So, what? Tell me about your wallet." And he went, "I don't have a wallet." And I was like, "How do you not have a wallet?" And he was like, "Oh, I just use the phone case." And I was like, "For fuck's sake." So this guy was like, "What about your wallet?" He went, "I don't have one." And I was like, "Why don't you have a wallet?" He went, "Oh, I just give it all to my missus and she carries it." And I'm like, "For fuck's sake, man."
Oh, that's such a fucking loser answer.
Oh, it is.
That's such a dick answer. That's like the same people that, like Lee Evans says, "Knock, knock," but they're already in the room because I'm so fucking hilarious.
Oh, but when I'd done this bit, there was a guy, and he was a little bit younger. He went, "Oh, I've got a wallet," and I was like, I wasn't asking for it. Okay, so
I was trying to help you out. Everyone was going to say no. Everybody was going to say no.
Nick, just wait, just fucking wait for this. So I said, "Okay, mate, tell me about your wallet." And he went, "It's metal," and I went, "Who has a metal wallet?" And I went, "Show me your wallet." So I got this. He was using a cigarette case as a wallet. And I was like,
"Where the fuck were you?"
I think we've established I was in Darlington. And I was like, "What is this?" So the majority of the other part of my set, I was bombing because they were quite an older audience. But this part of me essentially having a breakdown over these people not having suitable wallets got the laughs that it needed to. So basically, if in doubt, have a mental breakdown.
What are the chances of that?
Oh, the Velcro wallet bit, it divides people in the sense of sometimes it goes down really well because it was like, yeah, my mate's got this. But the times where it does absolutely brilliantly is when someone in the audience has a Velcro wallet. And I've had it twice now where the person who I've asked had the Velcro wallet, and it's just done absolutely brilliantly. But yeah, the older the audience gets, I tend not to do as well. I'm not going to say I bomb. I hold my own. And when I say hold my own, I mean I'm holding them up because they're probably falling over.
So what we're saying is, just get lost, old people, and let the young people in the comedy venues. All right, there's not going to be enough space for you old people now. COVID's here. You need to fill it with decent people who are going to laugh.
Yeah. Middle-aged people, they love a joke, and they love a rude joke, don't they?
Yeah.
Middle-aged people after a few bevs.
And they've got money to pay for tickets.
I think anyone from like 27 to 58, they're the target market for most people.
I want mine's 18, not just because again students, I'm better with students. 18 to like 50, I can deal with.
Yeah.
I need you to have money. I've just set up a comedy business. I need you to pay me some money. Other than that, I want you to laugh. That's the best thing. But not necessarily bad or worse gigs then. And to be fair, I don't actually think I've actually asked Nick this, so it might be good for both of you. What actually was your last gig before lockdown? What about you, Millie?
I think it was for Women's Day as well. So yeah, it was all female. It was what's it called? Is it Laughing Stock Comedy with Leon Brown?
Oh, was this the one where Helen Swallow headlined?
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic lineup, that.
Yeah, it was a really good night. Yeah. I was. When you just finish, you're like, oh, I'm buzzing. Can't wait for the next ones I've got coming up. Oh, that's not happening.
That venue. So I played that venue earlier in the year, and one of my favourite stories from comedy is from that venue. I like to point out Leon Brown, fantastic promoter, fantastic, great. Nothing against that night.
Top lad,
yeah. Big bands. But the headliner who he'd brought on was a female act who was very sexually explicit, shall we say. When I say very sexually explicit, like the name of her solo show was about anal sex. I can't remember the title of it, but it was about anal sex. She was proper filth bag, filth bag. And when you were going through this, there was an old lady, obviously an old lady, in the audience, and I'm going to see if I can find it now. Oh, no, I don't think I'm going to find it as quickly as I wanted to. Oh, no, I can't. Straight away, I found the picture. This was a picture. I'm going to send it to you guys. And for the people at home, I'll just maybe not show you because I don't know about GDPR. Oh, no, I don't know if it saved it. I can't. What? Let me send it. No, it won't let me send it and zoom in. But basically, there was a woman. So yeah, I'm not sending you it. And people at home, I can't put it on the screen because it's not there. But basically, this woman's face this whole time was just like this. The whole time, I was in absolute stitches. And the headliner came up going, "Oh, did you really enjoy it?" I went, "I'll be very honest. I didn't pay attention to anything you were saying. I was just watching her face, and it was fucking hilarious." Fucking, it was just absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
No, but that's a night. I mean, your gig was quite a nice one to end on. Mine really wasn't. I bombed a hard one. What about you, Nick? What was your last gig?
I think I was just having a look. Then it was Shoe Cake Comedy.
Oh, again, brilliant. Where was that at?
I remember where the venue was. Was it above like a rest? I want to say like a restaurant thing. Like a function room. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Actually, yes, it was. It was good because even though COVID was already like big thing and people were getting told to stay at home, we still had a decent crowd. So
that's good. That's exactly what you want. That is what you want. I mean, my gig, I did a gig local. In actual fact, it was the gig that for AJ Brown, the one in Huddersfield that you guys did. It was a great night. It was done really well, and it's a fantastic. I'd go there to go watch comedy. It just wasn't my audience. Again, it was probably an age thing. They're a bit of an older crowd, and they just did not like me.
Oh no!
It just at one point there were a couple in the front row who were just falling asleep. So me and the headliner were just watching them fall asleep, and I was like, "This is what we do. This is what we're here for."
Who spends money and then goes, "Do you know what? This is a comfortable chair to fall asleep in."
I'm off for a kip. I just never understood it. But yeah, that was one. I wouldn't say it was my comedy lowlights, but it's not one that I remember fondly. Which is annoying because like my gig just before that one was one of the best gigs I've ever done, and I'm like, how that been my last gig?
Oh, they're so hit and miss, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. What about you, Nick? Anyway, do you have any other comedy horror stories that you want to share?
Nah, just that one.
No, just smash every gig. Just smash it. Every gig.
See, I don't like to brag because it makes me sound like a dick, but no, I haven't.
No, you do. You have dropped on quite well though. Actually, with some of the gigs you've done, everyone says to that, "Oh, what was the worst gig you've ever done?" And I have 3 that come to mind. One of which I'm not going to go through because the actual gig is an outright gig. I just did terribly. I'm sensing a theme here. But one of the gigs that was genuinely horrendous. It was actually in London. I'd travelled down to London. Now, I hadn't travelled down to London to do this gig. I'd like to preface that originally I was supposed to be flying out from Heathrow the day after. So I said, I'll go book a gig, go do that, stay in the airport and fly to Italy, have a great holiday. But I'd got a new job and they wouldn't give me the time off. So my actual holiday got cancelled. But I thought I'll still keep the gig booked. Why not? So I went down and we were getting texts throughout the day. Be there for 7, be there for 7, be there for 7. If you're not there for 7, you will miss your time. And I was like, all right, mate, calm down. So I got there. The guy didn't turn up till 7:30. So we were sitting around like, what the absolute fuck? It was a Sunday night and the whole place was absolutely empty. The only people in the audience were other members, were acts, friends.
Christ.
It was absolutely horrendous. Halfway through the second act, 2 people came up. And basically, everyone bombed because there were just no audience there. And also, they didn't like Northerners. But the reason why I hated it was I got on stage and didn't do horrendous, did what everyone did. But then someone on after me, and they bombed. And then when the MC took him off the stage, he introduced him as me. He was like, "Oh, well, give it up for Jack Vincent." I was like, "No, don't give. That's not me. It's not me."
I'd be mortified. You should have said that straight away. You should have grabbed the mic and gone, "That's not fucking me. It was shit."
But I think it was a bad gig when everyone was filtering away I say filtering, when everyone was leaving out of the door in one line because that's all that could done. The MC just stood with the mic and just went.
Oh no!
I was like, "Oh, this is London comedy for you. This is great."
Oh.
But no, it seems good that we've all kind of dropped on quite well-ish then. We've kind of, cause even though I've had a couple of bad ones, the majority of gigs are always good.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have the experience around it.
Yeah. And I'm not, this isn't being big-headed, but the ones that I've had that are bad, I don't feel it wasn't because I forgot my lines or anything. It was just, it wasn't the right audience.
Yeah.
So I think everyone gets that.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think if you go and there's no audience, as long as there's hardly any audience, or you know the audience is going to be yours. You just need to, as long as you do it how you would do every other gig.
Yeah.
Then it's only you are getting practice from that, so you can take something from it.
I mean, me and Nick can attest to that. I mean, me and Nick turned up to that Halifax gig where there was more acts than there was an audience.
Oh, do you know what? That was one of the best gigs I've had, and there were 4 people in the audience.
We all had a hug at the end of it.
It was very good.
When I say
sometimes
all had a hug,
the bad ones turn out to be good ones.
I'd like to clarify, when I said we all had a hug, I meant acts and the audience. We all had a massive big group hug at the end of it.
Oh, that's nice. They should end all gigs like that.
Yeah. And
maybe not at the minute.
Yeah, maybe not at the minute. COVID and all that.
Yeah.
No, but it was on piece of paper. It should have been a horrendous gig, but we had a ball. I remember I got an alcoholic slushy.
Oh,
Brilliant.
No, I didn't get anything because I drove.
Oh yeah, you were driving for us, weren't you?
Is it a lot for you to come then, Millie? Is there much around you? Cause
not really. York's the nearest, and that takes about an hour.
Yeah, because I went from where we were staying on holiday to York, and it is about that.
Yeah, that's probably my nearest good one. And then you think you're looking at about 2 hours.
Just to pause, just 2 seconds. Nick, why did you feel the need to bring up that you went to York during your holiday?
Right, first of all, you're pulling me into this, right? I didn't say what it was for, I just said I went to York, so that could have been anything. You're pulling me into this on purpose, because you want me to brag.
About what?
So I went to the Yorkshire Fringe final.
Right, here we go.
But I was on holiday, and I thought, I'm already in it. I'm not going. And then I looked at the distance, and I thought, do you know what? It's not that far. from my holiday. So I was on holiday. That's not a bad thing. I was only in North Yorkshire. Is it North Yorkshire?
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Then where did you come?
What place did you come, Nick?
I didn't place in the top 3.
No.
I got the best. I got the best review.
Oh, what was it?
What was it? Go on.
No, I don't know. It was something like Nick Crooks, comedy genius.
I just liked when you started like saying, "Oh yeah, so Milly, how far is it from you?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's been so to this."
I was genuinely
and then it was
interested.
like, "Oh yeah, I had to travel from York." I went, "You freaking slimy bugger."
Well, to be fair, Milly said York, but I wanted to know like where around, like if there was a local one in like the Pickering sort of like town or village.
No, it'd be all old people. It'd be
I know there's not a lot in. I mean, they love the. Is it an Aldi? It's a Lidl there.
Yeah.
Love the Lidl. I can tell you that from being on holiday.
Lidl's the hotspot.
I mean, Lidl's the only shop in the big shop in the place.
I thought you said the world. Then I was like, okay, calm down.
No, but they love it, and the car park is smaller than like somebody's garden. It fits about 10 cars. See, I know a lot about this place. I went to Lidl most days.
Did you go on the steam train?
No. I went to the little. See, this is how in depth I'm getting about the location now. I went to some little farm shop that has a miniature railway thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
God.
Good for
kids. You two are vegetarians, but they sell the best black pudding pork sausage rolls there and pork pies.
Oh, I can't experience it.
I mean, they were very good.
And go on the little train after.
Yeah, I mean, we drove past the train tracks because we were staying up the hill. If you go past is the castle?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go past the castle and up the hill.
Tourist guide, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And then there's another village. You just follow that all the way. We didn't come off one road. You follow that all the way, and then there's a village with a pub. That's all it's got.
I live nearer to that. So just outside of I'm literally live in the middle of nowhere. So I'm not exactly in Pickering.
It's literally got a village, a pub, and an old church that's up for sale.
Yes, that's just there. Yeah, look at you. Blimey.
I stayed in the cottages there with some dude called John who was just very.
Do you want to tell us who John is?
John's the guy who owns the cottages.
So why was it just you and John?
It wasn't. I went with my family, but John come out and he was like we had like a 45-minute talk on how to use the swimming pool correctly. See, that's the face we pulled. I mean, like every day he'd come out and he's one of them that locks you in a conversation. He's like, "Fuck off, John, we're on holiday." All right.
No.
I mean, going off to Lidl just to get away from him. And then because he's like 60, guess who turns up at Lidl? John.
Oh.
All right, John. Christ.
Oh, coming 2021. Nick.
There's a weird shop though. I'm gonna. You might know this shop, but Jack, you'd like this shop. It's full of old like memorabilia. You're talking like comics, like dolls and collectibles. I'd say, but like more like TV collectibles. So you've got like Wallace and Gromit and stuff like that in it. It's just it's by the roundabout near the toilets, and there's a car park.
I can't think of I know what you mean, but I can't think of selling comic books and things. Oh yeah, like old teddies.
Yeah, so it's got all them outside, and then you go
Teddy Orphanage.
It might be something like that. It's like Aladdin's cave inside.
There is a Teddy Orphanage.
Is the coolest thing.
A Teddy Orphanage.
Yeah. There's a gun shop. There's a gun shop.
Crinkling guns. Yeah.
See? I know a lot. I went there once. For a week.
Gosh, you should do Pickering tours, with one of them little flags following.
Yeah,
I said it once. I'll say it again. Nick Crooks, Pickering Comedian of the Year 2021, hosted by John.
Yeah.
Smashing a gig in a local pub where nobody is.
When you mentioned the Teddy Hospital, I once did a gig in I think it was Bridlington or somewhere coastal, and I went with Marie Fawcett, who we've had on the podcast before, and we parked up and we were walking up this hill, and it was pitch black because it wasn't winter, but it was dark at a certain time, And there was this one shop that had all its lights on, but it was all taxidermy animals, and they were all looking out, but they all had the lights on, so all you just had were all these like owls and ferrets just staring at you like that. Fucking terrifying.
And it's like Toy Story, they come alive at night.
No, they were just live before, and then they got killed to look pretty.
Yeah, now they're made into some toys, so they've got a second life.
Isn't it weird when people, have you seen where they do taxidermy, but they'll put like a fox in a wedding dress? And you're like, well, who's buying that?
Yeah.
That is weird.
I go to a couple, when we're allowed out to play, I go to tattoo conventions quite often. And tattoo conventions, they normally have a bit in the middle where it's not tattooing, it's like people can buy like eclectic jewellery and clothes and little bits like that people have handmade. And this one particular one had a taxidermy stall, and you could buy a lamp, but what do you call the main part of a lamp? Just the lamp. The lamp thing was basically a deer's leg.
Oh.
And I was like, that is disgusting. What is the main part of a lamp called? Because you've got the bulb and then you've got a lampshade. What's that?
Lampshade. Oh.
What's that? What's that?
Right, come on, Jack. I mean, with all this stuff on the comedy forums at the minute, and you're doing stuff like that when we've got a female guest on. Christ.
You just want to get me in trouble, you. You just want to get me in trouble.
I was going to be edited out. You're going, what's that? What does that mean?
Please just play that clip as the advert to this episode. Just so we find out what this is.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I mean, don't worry, Millie. Me and Nick have said a hell of a lot worse things on this podcast that have definitely not made the live versions. Some of which
I don't mean like bad as in bad stuff.
Yeah.
We've never been that bad. But detailed plans of shooting up a school in America is not podcast friendly, really. So to edit that out.
Yeah, we did, and we'll probably now have to edit this bit out because we've just now referenced the bit we edited out.
No, because they didn't go into detail this time, so you don't have to edit that out. Like I went into a bit too much detail of how good I would be at it.
Oh my god!
He did go into it.
This person knows where I live.
Yeah, that's it. Now we're going to drive there. Take care of John first because he's just been grinding my gears ever since that holiday. Take care of him. Go in the local Lidl, and I'm going to say, bring me Camilla Armstrong-Clark now. Otherwise, a pensioner is going to get dropped every 30 seconds. And I've got a lot to go at.
Just a reminder, guys, that's Nick at Nick Crooks Comedy. He is apparently Harrogate New Comedian of the Year award, but he's probably going to be Armley's newest recruit in May as of next year. Court case pending.
I'm just going to shut the window now because I think my cousin who I live near, she's starting to make noise outside. So, you paused.
No,
he just stopped.
Yeah, we're just like. That's because the village is so small. She can hear the person from like.
One second.
Alan's out in his garden.
Oh.
I've got questions now. Like, how do you specifically know it's your cousin?
She can hear her.
But like, what?
I'd love it if she went to the window and just went, "Shut the fuck up! I'm doing a podcast." We're supposed to live in a village, you fucking loud bastards.
Imagine. So what noises was your cousin making?
She's just started up a tractor.
Oh my! That is so. Oh my! Yes, perfect.
Can you hear it?
No.
We don't know what a tractor sounds like. Yeah. Could sound like anything. Oh, that's brilliant. That is literally a brilliant thing to happen. She's just started up a tractor.
I wish I was joking, but I'm not.
No, I can hear it. I can hear it a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Is it a pain?
No, it's not.
He's just bullshitting you.
No, I'm not. It just adds to the fact that people will be going, she's lying. And then when they hear that little bit, they'll go, no, she's
I'm in the countryside.
This is where I'll just CGI a tractor behind her coming out of the window. If I had that sort of technology.
I mean, I'm aware that I've just literally told everyone pretty much where Millie lives.
Yeah.
I've given them a Goonies map to Milly's house. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
also,
there's the pub and the church. She's not far from here.
no, in all fairness, you didn't. Milly did. You described everything, and then Milly went, "Yeah, that's there."
Yeah, that's there. I can see that from my room. That's there.
Oh, she just went past on. Oh no, I was going to show you on webcam, but she's gone past.
You're telling me you can't hear that, Jack? You heard a
I did
track.
hear that one. I heard that time.
So people of the world who listen to this,
That's
people just like to ride tractors at 9:45 at night.
So now,
Thanks for life.
now we have to name this podcast with Milly Armstrong-Clark and her cousin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tractor lady.
At the window.
jeez. So before we wrap up then on that one, because I think we've got quite a lot there, just for the listeners at home. So obviously you have Tea with the Morale Queen, and I'm assuming that's on all streaming services, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz.
Yeah. All mainstream podcast things.
All of them. And
I'm
also
trying to sound cool there, I didn't.
and then all the ones that it puts on that you didn't even know, like Pocket
Yeah.
Casts.
What the hell's that?
Didn't even know.
No.
So it's all on them. So put yourself on there, give 5-star review. When people want to not stalk you in person to go find a tractor and all that jazz, where can people find you online?
So at the minute, just on Instagram at Mill Comedy. So just MILL Comedy. Nice
God,
and
you got in there
simple.
quick. Got in there quite quickly with that. Like that's quite a comedy. That's
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah.
I just, when you sat there trying. Oh, sorry, there's tractor noises again. When you sat there trying to think of a good, like, easy to remember thing, I was like, oh, I'll do. It's a bit boring, but there you go.
Hey, I am Jack V. It's nothing special. Next is a fucking essay made for making promotional material fucking hard.
I mean, mine's Nick Crooks Comedy.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, but like when you're aesthetically pleasing to those, you've got me, which is like 6 letters, which is like you can't see about like that big, and then you've got Nick Crooks, which is like that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people need to know what I do, don't they? Because they just assume that I make boilers when they look at me. Obviously, that's what
Also, slightly annoying is that Nick's Twitter handle isn't at Nick Crooks Comedy; it's at Nick's Crommed. It's got no Y.
Yeah,
at the
because
end.
it doesn't allow me another character, which is fucking crap.
Does that not tell you it's too loud? Too loud? Too big?
No, because you need one more. Just give me that one Twitter.
Hashtag give Nick the one.
I mean, Twitter's crap, really, isn't it? Let's be honest. We're just going to end. Like, I'm going to end on this because it's just crap. You don't get enough letters to put in your tweet. I mean, I put a sports-related tweet out earlier, and I couldn't put my hatred out there because it wasn't long enough. It was too long. So
I think Instagram's the best.
I do prefer Instagram.
Yeah.
Although at the moment my Instagram is literally just videos of Karens kicking off at the world and then cute dogs. I'm not going to
That's all you
complain.
need. Do you know what mine is? All my recommendations are just like lip fillers. I don't know what it's trying to say, but everything's like Botox and lip fillers.
Well, on mine, I googled the other day how earwax extractions. Don't ask why. You don't need to know. And then obviously because I've shaved my head, I've bought a new head shaver. So now all of my recommended on Instagram is basically just people getting like waxing and hoppy candles coming out their ear.
Oh, satisfying though.
I'm going to leave on this one, and viewers at home, I will link it if you need me to. I watched an earwax extraction yesterday at 2:00 in the morning, and it was so satisfying when they took the clump of earwax out of the ear and dropped it. You could hear it drop.
Oh my days!
Oh.
Who's been?
Beautiful.
I love how you said that in the creepiest way. Beautiful.
Oh my god!
I mean, if you killed someone, they went, well, him and his wife have been sliced up by someone who's a crazy lunatic. But here's the kicker: they both had the cleanest ears you've ever seen.
Holler at your boy. Holler at your boy.
That was the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast with Jack Vincent and Nick Crooks, recording from their own home and heavily fucking edited. Follow them at I am Jack V and at Nick Crooks Comedy. Why don't ya? #NiceGuys.